So we was studying about this soda fire extinguisher. Okay, why this is known as soda fire extinguisher? Just we are taking just a recap that here it is previously filled with sodium hydrogen carbonate, and there is a glass bottle which is filled with H2SO4. You can use any acid, but the problem is or we can say the advantage is that this H2SO4 is a strong acid. It is a strong acid and it can release more carbon dioxide. So this is sodium hydrogen carbonate which is previously filled. And why we say that this is soda fire extinguisher? Because this is soda. Okay, this is also known as baking soda. That's why this is also known as soda fire extinguisher. So the reaction is sodium hydrogen carbonate plus this H2SO4. We know that as soon as we struck this bottle on Earth's surface, this bottle of H2SO4 will break down and it will mix with this, and it will form NaSO4, which is salt. We are studying about the chapter acid, base and salt. So this is salt. Whenever a metal adds with non-metal, it is known as salt, and it will release carbon dioxide and water. Now this carbon dioxide will release from this side and it can be used to extinguish fire. Now same thing happens, the CO2 will release from nozzle. So baking soda is used, that's why it is known as sodium hydrogen sodium soda fire extinguisher or soda acid fire extinguisher, because this is soda, and there are two types of soda, baking soda and washing soda. So this is soda and this is known as acid. Okay, now we are moving to another topic which is known as conduction of electricity by acids. In this topic we will learn that how acids helps to conduct electricity. Now we just have to take a setup. In this setup, this is a glass beaker again. Okay, and it is filled with all these chemicals. First chemical is HCl, which is acid, and or we can say we are filling this with some ingredients or substances. HCl, H2SO4. We can use glucose. This is glucose. Or we can use nitric acid. Salia, you are late today. Okay, this is nitric acid. Or we can use another chemical or substance which is known as C2H5OH, or it is alcohol. Okay, this is alcohol and this is glucose. This is acid, this is acid, this is acid. Okay, now this is a glass beaker and we will put a setup in this. This is a rubber cork. And it is in which in this rubber cork we will fit two nails. Okay, two iron nails, and we will connect these two iron nails. With a battery. Here I'm using a bulb and here I'm using a key. And again I'm joining this circuit to this nail. So this is glass beaker and this is a rubber cork. This is a rubber cork. It is just made up of rubber. Just we want to dig this nails into this rubber cork. Okay, this rubber cork. It is rubber cork. Rubber cork. Okay. Now these are two nails. This nail and this nail. They are metal nails. And this is our circuit. Full circuit. We know about circuit. Electric circuit. Okay, this is battery, we know. This is our bulb and this is switch. Now we will add these all these substances one by one. First we will add HCl, second we will add H2SO4. After that, okay, one by one we will add HCl. After that we will wash this beaker, and again we will add H2SO4. We wash this beaker. After that we will add this glucose. We wash this beaker. Washing, the purpose of washing is that we don't want to let mix all this thing with each other, and after that I will wash this, and after that I will use this. So one by one we will add all these substances into this glass beaker. Now what would happen? Look, we know, as we know that acids can conduct electricity. Okay, we know that acids can conduct electricity. Why acids can conduct electricity? Acids can conduct electricity only because, as we know that acids are only acids because they can release H plus ions, or they are protons. We studied this. So whatever acid we are using, either you are using HCl, it will break down into H plus Cl. We are using H2SO4, it will break down into H plus, okay, or you can say 2H plus and SO4 minus. Okay, now glucose is not acid and alcohol is not an acid, and HNO3 again it will break down into these forms. Okay, now in this beaker this acid will break down and this acid will form this side. Okay, now we know that in a circuit this side is known as positive side and this side is known as negative side. We know this. So in this circuit there will be these acids, and these acids will break down into their corresponding ions. Okay, corresponding ion means HCl will break down into hydrogen and chlorine, H2SO4 will break down into hydrogen and sulfate, and this is nitric acid, it will break down into hydrogen and NO3. Okay, so they will break down. Now, right now I'm taking example of HCl. So HCl is broken down, and HCl broken down into H plus, H plus and Cl minus and Cl minus. Okay, now I'm using another page to show you full reaction. This is our beaker, and it is our rubber cork, and these are our nails, and there is a circuit, and this is bulb, and this is key, and again the circuit is added to this one. This side is known as positive and this side is known as negative. Okay, now HCl, we filled HCl, or we will add each and every substance one by one, but right now I'm taking example of acid. Now this HCl, as soon as we conduct the electricity or we open the switch, as soon as we open the switch, the acid will break down, this HCl will break down into H plus and Cl minus. Okay, so now we can see that there are several H plus and Cl minus and Cl minus. There are so many molecules of H plus because they are broken. Now we know that this side is positive and this side is negative. So this terminal of nail, this is nail. This nail, we know that this is nail. This nail is having positive side. So this nail is known as anode. Okay, positive side is always known as anode, and this nail is having negative side. That's why this nail is known as cathode. Okay, cathode. Okay, anode and cathode. So it is having negative side. Now inside, as soon as we conduct electricity, this HCl molecule or any acid molecule will get break down into these corresponding molecules. If we take H2SO4, it will break down into H plus SO4, and if we take HNO3, it will break down into H plus NO3. Or we can use another acids. If you use CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, it will also release its H plus ion, and another part will remain inside. Okay, remember H plus ion is always positive, it is positive, don't forget, and another part will be negative. So as soon as we conducted electricity, the path of electricity is on. Now look what happened. As we know that there are so many hydrogen molecules and there are so many chlorine molecules in this HCl solution, because they are broken. So as soon as we conduct the electricity, what would happen? What would happen? That all these ions, okay, so H ion is positive and Cl ion is negative, and all our H ions are positive. So as they are positive, they will attract, they will get attracted to negative side, and all Cl are negative, or another, it could be SO4 or it could be another NO3, depending upon the property of acid, which type of acid it is. So Cl ions are negative, they get attracted by positive side. Okay, so H ions get attracted to negative side as they are positive, and chlorine ion get attracted to positive side as they are negative. So they will move towards negative pole, they will move towards negative pole, and negative pole, the name of negative pole is cathode. So they are known as cations, because they are positive but they will move towards negative side, and these chlorine ions are negative, or SO4 ions are negative, or NO3 ions are negative. So they will get attracted by positive terminal and they will move toward positive terminals. So depending upon their movement, they are known as anions. Remember, cations moves towards negative terminal and anions move towards positive terminals. Cations always, they are positive, they get attracted towards negative pole, and anions are always negative and they move towards positive poles. So here all the hydrogen, broken down hydrogen molecule will get attracted to here, that is cathode, and all the chlorine ion will get attracted to here, anode, because they are negative. So they will get attracted to positive pole and negative pole. So by the movement of ion, there will be conduction of electricity. There will be conduction of electricity, and this bulb will glow, or it will illuminate. But this happens only when we are using acids. This will happen only when we are using acids. Okay, when we are using acids, this is acid, this is acid, this is acid, and this is acid. It will never happens with this glucose and this alcohol. Suppose if I add this glucose, and if I add this alcohol in this solution, definitely they are not going to break down, and they will not break down into their molecules. Why so? Because although they are having H, okay, they are having H, like acids are having H, acids are having H, acids acids are having H, they are also having H, okay. But even though they will not break down uh, in their corresponding H plus. Okay, that's why we can say that it is not important that some substances contain hydrogen or not. It is important that they will release their hydrogen ion. So all of them are having hydrogen ion, but it is not so important that they have hydrogen ion. It is not important that they are having hydrogen, so they will be considered as acids. It is not important. The important thing is that they should release H plus ion, and only when they release H ions they are considered as acids. So these two things, glucose and alcohol, are not considered as acids. They are not considered as acid because despite of having H plus, they cannot release their H ions and they are not acids. So the conduction of electricity will occurs only when we put any type of acid inside this. You put acetic acid, you put nitric acid, whatever you put, the conduction of electricity or the glowing of bulb only happens or only takes place with the help of acid, because acid will break down into this corresponding H plus, and another part could be anything. It could be Cl, it could be NO3, it could be SO4, or whatever acid you are using. So conduction of electricity is totally depends upon anion. Those are cations and anions, and they will move to their corresponding poles. They are moved towards anode or they move towards cathode, but as they move, their electricity will conduct. Okay, now this is the experiment that conduction of electricity occurs by acids. Acids can release H ions. Okay, now I'm moving to another same point. This is structure of our book. This is rubber cork. These are two nails. Okay, there is no use of this rubber cork. It is placed just to dig this iron nails. Okay, otherwise how can we make this iron nails stable in this solution? That's why they want to dig them. Okay, we want to stabilize them. That is all thing we are using for this experiment. Now this is bulb, this is circuit. Okay, and remember that this large uh, sign is positive and this is negative. I used this thing. There is no problem with this. One terminal will be positive and one terminal will be negative, so it is not a big deal that the book is using positive here and I'm using negative here. And positive terminal will be anode, remember this, and negative terminal will be cathode. Okay, and the uh, ions will move towards anode are known as anions, and ions will move towards cathode are known as cations. Now uh, this is the conclusion of our experiment, that glowing of the bulb indicates that there is a flow of electric current through this solution. The electric current is carried through the solution by ions. What ions? Acids were dissociated in their corresponding ions, H plus Cl minus, 2H plus SO4 plus, H plus NO3 minus, H plus CH3CO minus. So they will get dissociate into their corresponding ions, but each and every acid will release H plus. That is a fixed thing. Okay, if it is acid, it should be releasing H plus ions. Otherwise, there are so many substances which contain H, but definitely they are not releasing H ions. So that's why they are not acids. Since cation present in acid, they are cations because they were moving towards cathode, and this suggests that acid produce hydrogen ions. Okay, hydrogen ions. Aqua means hydrogen ions. They produce hydrogen only when they are in aqueous condition. Okay, they produce their ions. Acid produce ions only when they are in aqueous condition, or when they are in liquid condition, or better you can say aqueous condition. Only acid can release its ion when it is in aqueous condition. A dry acid will never release H plus ions. Now what is dry acid and what is this thing, we will run it after some topics, that what is dry form of acid. Right now you have to learn that, you have to remember that acid will release its ions only when it is in aqueous condition. Okay, only after that it can release its H plus ion in solution, which are responsible for their acidic properties. We know that acid is only acid because it can release H ions, and anything which contain H plus but cannot release H is not considered as acid. Now this is an experiment, you know this. Okay, this is anode and this is cathode. Okay, and these are ions. They are moving toward their corresponding poles depending what charge they are having. And only when the ions move, only when ions move, there will be conduction of electricity. There will be conduction of electricity and this bulb will glow. Okay. Now there is an important question. All of us know this. The question is, sometimes you could be asked with this question that rainwater conduct electricity. Okay, rainwater conduct electricity, but distilled water not. Okay, distilled water. What is distilled water? You have purchased this distilled water from market so many times. We pay much amount to buy a little amount of, we pay much money to buy little amount of water, that is distilled water. Now this distilled water is pure water, that is H2O. This is purest form, no added chemicals, no added minerals, no added minerals, no added chemicals. This is pure. Okay, and the pure water, uh, it tastes a bit bitter. Okay, it is not a general taste. Generally the taste of distillery water or water we purchase from market, or sometimes our RO system, water purification system, gives pure H2O and it tastes a bit bitter because the pH of pure water is 7.4. 7.4. Do you remember the universal indicator? So the pure water is basic in nature, bit basic in nature, little basic in nature, and it tastes bitter. That's why pure water, remember, pure water doesn't contain any type of mineral and chemical. The formula of pure water is H2O. It tastes bit bitter, and its pH is 7.4 and it is basic in nature. Generally water we take, some which is not from water purification system or RO, the taste is slightly differ, and when we drink water from RO, it tastes different. Okay, so in general water, which is not, which we take directly from water sources or for our tube well or other water sources like tap water, okay, it is not pure. It is not pure water, because with pure water there are so many other impurities are added. Impurities means there are several minerals and there are several other chemicals. That's why this water is not pure and it tastes differently, and its pH is lesser than 7.4. Its pH is lesser than 7.4. Water we obtain from tube well or water sources, other water sources like lakes and other water sources, rivers, and tap water. Okay, so there is these two kinds of water which are in our use in our daily life. So this pure water, which is purely, this water is purely H2O and there is no other substances, this water cannot conduct electricity. This water cannot conduct electricity. Why so? Despite of being hydrogen rich, despite of being hydrogen rich, pure water cannot release its hydrogen ion. Cannot release hydrogen ion. Though it's having hydrogen, but it cannot release hydrogen ion, and it is pure water. Its pH is 7.4. Okay, it cannot release hydrogen ion, so it cannot conduct electricity. Pure water never conducts electricity. Okay, but the water which is impure, it contain minerals, chemicals. That's why it can conduct electricity, because what we studied, that due to electricity conducts only when there is presence of ions. When there is presence of ion, only electricity conducts only when there is presence of some ions. Okay. And in pure water there is no ion, it will not break down, it will never break down, it will never break down, it will never break down into this H plus and OH minus. It will never break down on its own. Okay, so that's why it will never conduct electricity. But impure water conducts mineral, that's why it can conduct electricity. And the rainwater, oh my god, rainwater is composed of carbon dioxide, SO4, NO3, so many these type of gases and these type of chemicals. And when all of them come in contact with water, okay, water comes from sky, and these gases are present in our atmosphere. Previously they are present in our atmosphere, and pure water come, when pure water comes in contact with these gases which was previously present in atmosphere, it will convert it, these gases will convert pure water to acid. It will form uh, carbonic acid, and it will form sulfuric acid. Okay, it will form CO2 with water form carbonic acid, sulfate with water form sulfuric acid, and NO3 with water form nitric acid. These acids are formed, and as soon as these acids are formed, we know that acids are very good conductors of electricity, because they can release their ions, they will get dissociate, it will get dissociate into H plus and CO3, it will get dissociate into H2 plus SO4, and it will get dissociate into H plus and NO3, and that's how they can conduct electricity. So these gases are responsible, or we can say some impurities, we can say these are impurities, because this is not pure form of water. Only this H2 is pure form of water, and it will never going to break down on its own. But as soon as the pure water from clouds, the water from clouds is very pure, it is pure H2O. But as soon as it come contact in with these gases and some other minerals which are previously present in our nature, they will convert the pure water into these acids. Okay, so sometimes you have heard about a term which is known as acid rain. Acid rain. Okay, clouds never gives us acid rain. The reason of acid rain is the water which falls down from clouds are very pure. It is very pure. The water which comes down, it is very pure. But the previously presented gases like this. Okay, we know about CO2, how it reaches to atmosphere, and all of them reaches to the atmosphere by our automobiles releases these gases, and by so many vehicles and so many factories, all of them release these gases. And as soon as water comes in contact with these gases, all of them will going to change in acids, and they are very harmful acid, and this is known as acid rain. This form is known as acid rain. And acid like H2SO4 and HNO3, okay, they can cause skin burns. So acid rain is uh, and it can also conduct electricity. Okay, now I'm moving to another topic which is known as reaction of acids with hydrogen oxide and bases. Okay, now remember that metal hydrogen oxide and bases. Now remember that what are base, I'm just giving an idea. Anything which can release H plus, we will study about bases in very detail. Anything which can release H plus is acid, and anything which can release OH minus is base. Remember this. Anything which can release H plus ion is acid, and anything which can release OH minus is base. So this is magnesium. Okay, suppose this is magnesium and I'm using OH with this. Okay, OH with this. Now sometimes I will put 2 here and sometimes I will not. This is the part of from your ninth class chemistry chapter number 3, you know about the formation of chemical formula, that how we make chemical formula using valencies. So sometimes I will use 2 and sometimes I will not. Now it is your duty to revise that chapter, that how to make chemical formula. So this is metal and this is hydrogen oxide. If I use calcium, this is metal and this is hydrogen oxide. Okay, now you can use zinc and this is hydrogen oxide. Okay, so anything which can release OH, it is known as base. Anything which can release OH, it is known as base, and anything which can release H plus, it is known as acid. So here we are going to learn about how acid reacts with this metal hydrogen oxide, or it is also known as, hydrogen oxide is also known as hydroxide. Okay, what is hydroxide? OH, and this is the presence of base. This is the presence of base. So here acid with base. Now I'm taking HCl, which is hydrogen chloride, and I'm taking a base which is known as magnesium hydroxide. Okay, now this is the formula of magnesium hydroxide. This is a base, and what would happen? It will form a salt and it will form a water molecule. This is a formula. What is the formula? If I take acid and if I take base, any type of acid, any type of base you can take, it will surely form salt and it will surely form water. What would happen? That this Mg magnesium will come here and it will form MgCl plus H2O. Okay, acid base gives salt and water. This is a salt. Why this is a salt? This is a salt because it contain a metal part and a non-metal part. Always remember always that salt is made up of one metal part and salt is made up of one non-metal part. Okay, so this is our formula. Now I will use 2 here only because this is a fully balanced equation and you have to learn that how to create chemical formula. It is from 9th class, chapter number 3, that how to maintain chemical formula, and this is our balanced chemical equation. Now I'm taking another equation. I'm taking HCl with another base which is known as NaOH. This is metal, this is hydroxide. Okay, this is acid and this is base. It will form this, Na will replace this hydrogen and it will form NaCl plus this OH and this remaining H. It will form H2O. So again there will be a salt and water. This salt is our table salt or white salt we use. This is our table salt and general a white salt which we use. So whenever acid and base reacts, they will form salt and they will form water. Now I am using an hard example, that is H2SO4 plus this is acid and I am taking calcium hydroxide. Okay, again I'm using 2 here. I haven't used 2 here. Why so? Because it is something chemical formula. You have to learn chemical formulas, or if I will get time I will make you understand that why I'm using this and why I'm using not using 2 here and why I'm using 2 here. Okay, let me explain you. Remember that I want to make something from NaCl. Okay, now remember, Na has valency of 1 and chlorine has valency of -1. When there is valency of, okay, now I will cross them. Na will go with the valency of chlorine and then chlorine will go with the valency of Na, so it will NaCl. In another type of formula, I have to make something with CaCl, okay, calcium and chloride. Now the valency of calcium is 2 and valency of chlorine is 1. Okay, now in writing chemical formula, I will write calcium and I will write chlorine. I will use the valency of chlorine with calcium and valency of calcium with chlorine. So I will use 1 here and I will use 2 here. So chlorine will get valency of calcium and calcium will get valency of chlorine. So it will be CaCl2. Okay. Now the valency of OH, hydroxide. Okay, valency of hydroxide is 1, -1. Okay, so sometimes if I use this sodium hydroxide, so I will write sodium and hydroxide. The valency of sodium is 1 and valency of hydroxide is 1. I will cross them and I will exchange their valency. So sodium will have 1 valency and hydroxide will have 1 valency. So I can write NaOH. But if I have to use calcium hydroxide, I know that valency of calcium is 2 and valency of hydroxide is 1. So I will cross their valency and calcium will get 1 and hydroxide will get 2. So the formula will be CaOH whole twice, because OH is coming together. The oxygen and hydrogen are together, they are not separated. So I will use this one. I will use this type of formula. That's why I'm using 2 here and I'm not using 2 here because valency of sodium is 1, hydrogen is 1. So both of them will share, exchange their valencies and it will be NaOH. But here the valency of calcium is 2 and valency of hydroxide is 1. And when they exchange their valency, then calcium will take valency of OH and it will be 1, and hydroxide will take valency of calcium and it will be 2. So again, this calcium will replace this hydrogen and it will form CaSO4, which is calcium sulfate. Okay, this is a salt. Again, to balance this or to check this, go with their valencies. Calcium is having 2 valencies and SO4 is having 2 valency. Okay, if I cross them, calcium will be 2 and SO4 will be 2, and finally I can write CaSO4 because both of them having same valency 2 2. So I don't have to do anything with this. This is already managed, and this OH2 and this H2 will form 2H2O, because there are 4 molecules of water, 2 molecules of hydrogen is here and 2 molecules of hydrogen is here. That is total 4 molecule of hydrogen, and 2 molecules of oxygen is here. So it will form 2 molecules of water. So totally this acid plus base will result into salt and water. It will go there, it will form. So again our formula is obtained. When acid and base are reacted, they will form salt and water. Whatever acid you use, whatever base you use, don't forget they will form the same result. And anything which can release OH minus ion, anything which can release, it can be magnesium hydroxide, I'm using 2, you know why I'm using 2. It can be NaOH whole twice. No, I don't need to do this. I'm not using 2 here because valency of Na is 1 and valency of hydroxide is 1. So if they exchange their valency, it will be like NaOH. There will be no change. But I need to write down this OH in bracket so that I will make sure that this OH is different from this. This is just a negative ion, and which is the shower of base. I can use calcium hydroxide. I can use copper hydroxide. I can use ferrous hydroxide. Write the valency by exchanging them. You can write the valency. Here you just have to write valency of ferrous here, and valency of OH is the valency of always OH is always 1. Okay, you can write zinc or hydroxide. Okay, all of them they contain OH, they contain OH minus, ions, they can release OH minus ion, they can release OH minus ion. So all of them are bases. Anything which contain OH minus ions and they can release OH minus ions, they are bases. And generally all metals can release, all metals when they are having OH, okay, Mg is having OH, sodium is having OH, calcium is having OH, copper is having OH, and ferrous is having OH, zinc is having OH. So all the bases, when all the metals, when they are having OH minus ion, they can release them for sure. They can release them. Any base, any metal, when it contain any type of OH, metal or OH, okay, metal took up this OH, it can release it easily. It can release it easily. Release it. Okay, that's why they are known as base. Now look at here. I'm just finishing my class in 2 minutes. Look, it is also having OH. Glucose is also having OH. This alcohol is also having OH. It is having OH, but it cannot release it. That's why glucose is neither acid nor base. Neither it can release H, neither nor it can release OH. Alcohol is neither acid nor base because alcohol cannot release H plus and cannot release OH minus. No, they can't do. Despite they are having H and OH, but they can't release them. That's why neither they are acids nor they are base. So all the metals, remember, all the metals which contain OH minus ion, all the metals which contain OH minus ion, these are known as hydroxide ion. Okay, or you can say hydrogen oxygen ion. Hydrogen oxygen ion. Okay, all metal, those contain these ions, they can release their OH ions. That's why they are base. They are bases.